Hello, this is Dr. Kilgore from Dr. Kilgore's World with another flipped math learning video. In this video, our learning goal is I can create models to divide whole numbers by unit fractions. So an example of that would be 3 divided by 1/6. So let's look at a few strategies for dividing fraction success here. We've got several strategies to go through. So the steps in creating your model are: number 1, draw the number of wholes that you have. Number 2, divide each one whole into the number of parts, the denominator, in the fraction you're dividing by. And then count the total number of parts in all of the wholes combined. So let's make these 3 steps make some sense by using our practice problem from the beginning of the video. So we have the number 3 and we want to divide it by 1/6. In order to do this, we need to first start by drawing 3 wholes. So there are 3 wholes. Each of those wholes need to be divided into groups based on our denominator, so into sixths. So I'm just going to switch color here. Half, and then each half needs to be in 3 parts, and that would give us 6. Notice my models are nowhere near perfect, but I'm doing the best I can. That's exactly what I expect of you as well. So we're taking our wholes and separating them into sixths. In order to solve this problem, we're going to go ahead and count the number of sixths that we created. So in this whole, we have 6 sixths. In this whole, we have another 6 sixths. And in our third whole, we have another 6 sixths. So 6 plus 6 plus 6 is going to give us 18 as our answer. Okay, so let's go ahead and try another practice problem together. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at another example. Here we have 4 divided by 1/3. So in order to make models to solve this problem, we would need 4 wholes. Doesn't matter if we use circles or rectangles, we just need 4. And we're going to divide each of those 4 into thirds. And then we count our sections, so 3, 6, 9, 12. That makes 4 divided by 1/3, the whole number 12. Look at another practice here. 2 divided by 1/4. So we make 2 wholes. Each of those wholes would be divided into 4 sections because that is our denominator of the fraction. Okay, and we have 4, 8 as our answer. So as we start moving towards the algorithm, there's a real specific formula for this algorithm. You can see probably how this algorithm is going to work. We're going to actually change it to multiplication. So we take our whole number 2 and make it the fraction 2/1. We're going to change our division to multiplication, and then we're going to flip, or call it using the reciprocal of the fraction that we're dividing it by. So that means it would be 4/1. So when we do our multiplication across, 2 times 4 is 8 and 1 times 1 is 1. So our answer would be 8. The thing that kids forget is to keep the whole number, switch the sign, and then flip the fraction. So let's look at another example. I find that it's easier to go ahead and do the model and then do my algorithm to back it up. So 6 divided by 1/2. I'm going to use circles this time. There are 6 wholes. Each of those I'm going to divide into 2 sections. So when I look at that, 6 divided by 1/2 gives me 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So when I do the algorithm, I keep my 6 and turn it into a fraction, switch the sign to multiplication, and then flip my next fraction to be 2 over 1, and that equals 12 over 1, which equals the whole number 12. Okay, so let's look at some different problems. This time, let's look at something that is not divided by a fraction with 1 as the numerator. So let's try 2 divided by 2/3. Okay, for this type of problem, I like using a number line better than models. So I'm going to take my number line, split it into 2 segments. I'm going to call this 1 and call this 2. So here is 1 whole, and here is my second whole. For each of those whole sections, I'm going to go ahead and split them into thirds. So I hope you can see this: 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. That makes 1 whole. 4/3, 5/3, 6/3. That makes 2 wholes. So in order to look at 2/3, we need sections that encompass 2 of each of those thirds. So this little purple bar that I'm making here would be one section that is 2/3 together. So I'm going to come here and make another section that is 2/3, 1/3, 2/3, and then come over here and make a third section that's 2/3. So when I look at this, I have 3, so 1 group of 2/3, 2 group of 2/3, and 3 groups of 2/3. That should make my answer 3. So when I do the algorithm, I do the whole number 2 and make it a fraction, multiplied because I switched my sign, and then I flip the second fraction, and I get 2 times 3 is 6. Use my eraser here. So 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 2 is 2. 2 will go into 6 3 times, so my answer is 3. I like the number line better because it's easier for me to see these segments of 2/3. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this next problem. Let's do the whole number 4 divided by 1. Ooh, let's not do a 1 there because we want to practice what it's like to do those groupings. So let's go 2/3. So draw our number line. 4 here. In the middle would be 2. Half of that would be 1, and half of that would be 3. So 1 whole, 2, 3. There's 4 wholes. And then let's look at thirds. Each of those sections has 3. So let's go ahead and make some groups that are 2/3. 1 group, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my answer to 4 divided by 2/3 should be the whole number 6. When I do the algorithm, I do 4 multiply 3 halves equals 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 2 is 2 equals 6. And I am right on with that one. So one last one, let's do a different number. Let's do 3 divided by 2/6. So I'm going to do a number line again. 1 whole, 2 wholes, 3 wholes. Each of those wholes needs to be divided into 6 segments. 1, 2, 3, 6. So half, and then each half needs to be divided into 3 sections. That should give us 6ths. So I need to make groups that are 2/6 long. So there's 1 group. 2 groups would go to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you see what I'm doing? Skipping one so it's easier to see. 5. This group of 2 would be 6. 7. This group of 2 would be 8. And then the last group of 2 would be 9. So let's use the algorithm and check our answer. So 3 over 1 times 6 over 2. 3 times 6 is 18. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 will go into 18 9 times, and our answers match. So I hope this video has helped you to understand how to use models to solve the division of fraction problems. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in class.